The contractions had been coming closer and closer, and Clare Matthews was completely alone. For months, she had prepared for this moment. She packed her hospital bag weeks earlier and placed it carefully by the front door. She even practiced the drive to Mercy General Hospital more than once. She had done everything right. Everything except finding someone to stand beside her. Her phone showed missed calls from her mother, a woman who had made it painfully clear that an unplanned pregnancy was not something she wanted to deal with. Her best friend Dana was in another city for work, crying on the phone when Claire told her the baby was coming. Claire told her not to rush back. The baby wasn't going to wait. So she did something she never imagined she would do. She drove herself to the hospital, hands tight on the steering wheel, breathing through the pain, repeating the same lie in her head. This is fine. But it wasn't fine. The hospital arrival. When Claire reached the emergency entrance of Mercy General, her hands were shaking. A nurse rushed out with a wheelchair and guided her inside. Bright hospital lights swallowed her as the doors slid open. The intake nurse asked for her details. Claire answered calmly, her name, her age, her pregnancy. Then she added one more word quietly, single. She said it like a medical fact, but it carried a weight that no chart could record. Soon she was in a delivery room. Monitors beeped softly. An IV was placed. A young doctor checked her and gave the news with professional calm. The baby was coming tonight. Claire simply nodded and stared at the ceiling. She refused to cry. After the doctor left, another figure entered the room. He was taller than the resident, with calm authority in his posture. Silver touched his dark hair at the temples. He looked down at the medical chart. Then he looked up, and the world stopped. Claire felt the air leave her lungs. The contraction hitting her at that moment barely registered. She stared at him. "Ethan," she whispered. Dr. Ethan Cole looked at the woman on the hospital bed. For a moment, he forgot the monitors, the charts, the clinical details, because the woman in front of him was the one person he had tried to forget for years. Claire. His voice was steady, but the silence between them held years of unfinished history. 3 years earlier, Claire had walked away from him. She had stood in his doorway and said she wasn't ready for the life they were building together. Ethan had let her go. Not because he didn't love her, but because he believed love should never be begged for. Since then, he had buried himself in work. He finished his medical fellowship, built a reputation, eventually became the head of obstetrics at Mercy General. He had delivered hundreds of babies in this hospital, but he had never imagined delivering hers. "I'll take care of you tonight," Ethan said quietly. Not as a former lover, but as a doctor. Claire nodded, tears forming in her eyes. Another contraction struck. Without thinking, she reached out her hand. Ethan took it, firmly, steadily. "Breathe," he whispered. "I'm here." And through the long hours of labor, he stayed beside her, not because he had to, but because leaving once had been enough. They didn't speak much about the past, but small conversations slipped into the quiet moments between contractions. Claire finally whispered the words she had carried for years. "I'm sorry, Ethan." He listened quietly, then answered softly, "I know." As dawn approached, Claire gave one final cry of effort. Then another sound filled the room, the cry of a newborn baby. Ethan gently placed the tiny girl on Claire's chest. Claire looked down at her daughter, small, wrinkled, perfect. And suddenly her heart opened in a way she had never felt before. "Hi, baby," she whispered. "I'm right here." Ethan watched silently. His eyes held the kind of emotion that lives just beside tears. Later that morning, Claire rested in a recovery room. Her daughter slept peacefully beside her. Her friend had promised to fly in soon. Her mother had sent only a heart emoji in response to the baby's photo. Then there was a soft knock on the door. Ethan stood there, holding 2 cups of coffee. He remembered exactly how she liked it. They sat together in the quiet morning light, watching the baby sleep. Finally, Ethan spoke. "She needs a name." Claire looked at her daughter. "I couldn't decide before," she admitted. Then she looked at him. "The truth is, every name made me think about the life she deserved, and the life I walked away from." She took a breath. "I gave up the best version of my life when I left you." Ethan listened quietly. Then he said something unexpected. "I bought a house last year." Claire blinked. "A big one. 4 bedrooms." He smiled slightly. "I told myself it was an investment, but it wasn't." Claire understood what he meant. She had always understood him. Finally, she looked at her sleeping daughter, then back at Ethan. "Her name is Eleanor." Ethan's face softened. He gently lifted Claire's hand and kissed it. Outside the hospital window, the city was waking up, life moving forward like it always does. But inside that small hospital room, something broken years earlier had finally begun to heal. Claire had driven herself to the hospital alone, but she didn't leave it alone. Because some loves are not truly lost. They simply wait for the moment when 2 people are brave enough to come home again.